Hi everyone, it's 𝗱𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 from 𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 Talks and we are live today with episode 11 and I'm really happy to be joined by Kornelia Epping from 𝗀𝗊𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 Consulting Relocation Services.
Hi,
So dear
Stefan.
Kornelia, thanks to be my guest today. Can you maybe start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Hi, Stefan. Thank you for this invitation and this opportunity to meet in person and to see you and to hear your voice. I always read about you on LinkedIn and we met some time earlier and it was really always very interesting and informative to read about you and your business and how your approach is.
Thank you, thanks a lot.
Well, about me, I am originally German citizen from the northern part of Germany, so between Osnabrück and Bremen.
Okay.
And I moved to Vienna 20 years ago, just out of curiosity, and started living here. It was very challenging in the first times because it was the first time that I had to learn that there are people xenophobic. I never experienced xenophobia before.
Okay.
And I am originally from the logistics market. My father had a forwarding agency. He drove a big truck himself, so I grew up in a 40-ton truck and joined my father on his tours in my holidays throughout my childhood until my 17th birthday. And I met people from all over Europe. So being different, having a different culture and approach always was normal for me. When I started working and living in Vienna, there happened some things and situations that gave me the idea I do no longer work as an employee. I want to run my own business. Logistics would have been the first idea, but I love people. I love people from all over the world, listening to what they have to tell me about their culture, their countries, their experiences. And I love to help people.
Can I just come back to what you said before? So you decided as a German to move to Austria.
Yes.
Don't you think it's a bit? It seems to be easy. You speak the same language, culture might be a bit similar. But what I've heard a lot is, I think I read a study a few years back that the expatriation that is failing the most is Americans relocating to the UK because you think that it's very similar. You speak the same language more or less, and so you are not ready for the change.
Right.
And I think with the French, the same. I see the French people arriving in Luxembourg. Sometimes they just think, oh, I'm in France because they speak French.
Yes.
Mainly, you know, in Luxembourg, in the street, even if the official language is Luxembourgish.
Yes,
But I see it's very difficult for them to adapt because they think that they are in France, which is not the case.
Right.
Didn't you feel the same thing a bit, maybe?
It is absolutely identical. It's like the Americans in Canada, the Brits in the US and vice versa. And like you explained, French with Luxembourg and the Germans with Austria. It is the language that separates us in all combinations because we have, although we have the same language roots, we have a different approach to certain situations. We adapt different, we act different, we react different, and that makes it so challenging. It's the best word I can use for this because
were you ready for that when you arrived, or
not at all? Not at all. No. And I was not prepared for that rejection that I experienced everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They say in Austria they hire Germans because of their reliability and their detailed loving work and their engagement in working, and then they fire them for these reasons because the Germans always speak loud out what they think. They speak directly without any calming words or comforting words. So that makes it a little bit rough in communication. After 20 years living in Austria, I know what this means. When people from Germany arrive today, and I have a regular table every month in a wine bar here in Vienna, and all the Germans come and they have the chance to speak in their own mother tongue for one evening, to complain about all these little frictions in life every day. And today I can feel what it means when they are new to Vienna, and they always compare, but in Germany it is like this, and in Germany it is like that. And that makes it very difficult to tell people, stop, there is a border in Passau. You are crossing a border from Germany to Austria. You are in a foreign country now.
And I think it's the main problem for people relocating, or not everybody, but for a lot of people, is that they should arrive with a blank page in the new country, and they shouldn't bring their cultural luggage with them, or maybe what they read on the internet about the country. They should arrive with an open mind and accept that the country they are moving to, even if the same language, is totally different.
But I have an excuse for these people who don't. How can you do this? How can you act like this if you are not aware that you are carrying your own culture with you?
Yeah.
That's also a topic. And
Yeah.
what I am complaining about is that most companies, the big companies anyway, but also the mid-sized and smaller companies that assign people to another country, they think a half day or 1 day cultural training should be sufficient to prepare a person, an expat and his family, to the new country. Never ever will this be sufficient. The best case they could do would be to hire a coach, like we are here in our company. We all have a coaching certification, and we are at the side of the expat when he is in certain situations, gets stressed and does not know how to act in that situation and how to solve this emotional and social problem.
And the reality also, you're talking about companies not giving enough time for cultural training, is that basically most of them wouldn't give any cultural training for a German moving to Austria, I suppose, because
that's correct. But it's also, I have to excuse this for the companies, because most Germans think they do not need it.
Yeah, also,
Germans
yes.
are persons. We have the culture as a German citizen. I can say we have the culture that we do everything ourselves. We solve everything ourselves, and we feel able to solve it. And then we have to learn, oh, there is a different world outside Germany.
So in a way, for this, they are quite similar to the French. And because, they think they can solve everything by themselves and do it by themselves. Where maybe the Anglo-Saxons are ready to pay for a service, or to pay to be assisted.
Yes. And they, especially the American clients, which I really adore, because they have the best behavior in communication. They are very kind and polite. They appreciate a good service level, and they are willing to pay for a good service level.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
Yes.
So sorry I interrupted you, but can you tell a bit more about how you ended up? You said you maybe decided to become an entrepreneur, and why in the relocation?
Yes. So first, why becoming an entrepreneur? Because I am a person who is keen to decide, to take responsibility, and to develop something, to create something. That's impossible in a hierarchy like they prefer it in Austria, and the system, how they work here. I was either too old or too self-confident to adapt to that system. So I decided I want to work myself as a self-employed person. That is 15 years ago. And to find out what it should be, I used my own experience as a life counselor. And there is a certain plan that says collect whatever you like to do, how you like to do it, what's your ability and your talents, your experience and your competence, and your professional competences. And then look where is the best fit in professional picture.
Mm-hmm.
What is that profession called? And in my case, there is a daughter-in-law. She called me and told me she was just watching TV and there is a person introducing her business, and that's exactly how she sees me. And I switched TV on and I watched this documentation, and it was relocation service. I never heard about that before. And it's, for me, it was like, that Wiki moment, you know, that says, you always learned in your family, in your former roots, to organize logistics with goods.
Yeah.
And now I will do this with people. And I'm very good at that. I know that.
It's really funny that, you know, at a time where you decide that you want to do something for yourself and set up a business, then you have the, you know, something popping up and something that maybe you never heard before.
Right, right. And it's this always the same. It's first, before you find this, you have always this thinking, I want to get away from that. I don't want to get rid of that. And suddenly there pops up something, because I decided from now on I will be self-employed. And suddenly there popped up that relocation service topic, and it is like, that's what I want to get to. I want to have that. And I started this. I had 1 year preparation time. My husband always was at my side and told me, whatever you want to do, whatever you need, I will support you. And it's true, he did, and he still does, because he still is in challenging times when there are lots of orders, lots of people. He has to join our team and to support us. And
can you talk a bit, maybe, because this could be interesting for people who want to start as entrepreneurs or solopreneurs. What was so you decide that you want to go into the relocation industry. You don't have, I suppose, a clue about what it is, and it's the first time you're going to set up a business. So
I learned it. I studied economics, entrepreneurial economics.
Yeah.
And I studied economic English and French years ago, so I knew how to do it. And it wasn't that difficult, actually, because I very, very quickly registered the relocation as a total business, as a portfolio of services, has to be sorted out like a package. They can combine themselves, the companies, as well as the expats themselves. And in most cases until today, we are the experts for immigration. Meanwhile,
yeah,
it was very fast that people asked, are you doing that immigration stuff as well? And it took just 5 years, and we covered the whole of Germany and Austria, specializing in the skilled professional permits like Blue Card EU, Blue Card Germany, Red Card Austria, and the ICTs that cover all of Europe. That's what we specialize in. And that was our column we are carrying through all the years. We are now a team of 5 in Vienna. We have consultants in the major cities of Austria, and as well in all of the major country cities in Germany. Our German office is in the middle of between Hanover, Hamburg, and Bremen.
Yeah.
And it's a very rural area, but from there we have the access to the Dortmund area and Düsseldorf area. It's only 1.5 hours, and to the other biggest cities it's just 1.5.
So it's very central, yes.
It's very central there, and we cover a huge area. Meanwhile, after 15 years, there are many people who appreciate German and Austrian economic situation, the stability of
Yeah.
politics and economy, the stability in purchase prices like property, houses and flats. And as my husband is the real estate broker in our family, we sometimes join and support our clients when they come here and found a business. And with this so-called golden ticket investment, they are able to stay here with their families, and our clients come from all over the world.
Yeah, and so you wanted to meet different cultures and different nationalities, and it's exactly what you have.
Yes.
But
it was really a hard way to get there. Yes.
Yeah.
Because
so you said that you took 1 year to prepare everything before launching the company.
Right.
So you are new on the market. You are a young entrepreneur.
15 years.
Yeah, 15 years but when you started.
At that time it was, yes, 12 months preparation.
But how did you do to get your first customers? How did you manage to show them that you had enough expertise to be able to assist them? Which services did you start to work on? I'm interested about that because it's always challenging when you're starting a new business and you need to find the customers. You need to be able to sell a service that maybe you don't manage that you don't understand so well. How was it?
At that time, when I go back in time, the most challenging part was to get in contact with the HR decision makers. Yeah. It's for all of us the same. Yeah. No matter if you are doing cold calling by telephone, just mailing them or connecting via all these social medias, it's always the same. They refuse, they reject, they do not want you in their closed club. So what I did was I did a lot of networking, online as well as offline, met a lot of people, especially from outside Europe, on clubbings and expat events, special events. And there I talked to the people. On one hand, I found I had to learn that they had the most issues with the immigration. And second, that they needed somebody to turn to when there are all these small issues, small things.
Yeah.
Because of course, nobody knows when I'm moving outside, what are the regulations about renting a flat, renting a house? How can I get the car transferred to another country? The plates, insurance, the schooling systems, the medical systems. And it's on one hand easy to explain it on a website, in a blog article, but each question is different, and there's always a different approach according to the original culture. And that's what they need to get explained personally.
Yeah, and so you're going to networking events, you meeting people.
Yes.
So
at
that time, yes. So is it because you were listening to them, listening to their issues, that and maybe coming with solutions that they decided to work with you?
It was both. It was on one hand always learning, listening and learning what they need, so that I could perfect
combination.
Get perfect combination of services. And on the other hand, as they trusted me and had the feeling that they could rely on me, so they recommended me to the HR. Yeah. And the HR contacted me and asked, "Hey, I heard there is somebody like you, and you offer a combination of services that nobody else does. We want you." That was the beginning. in the
Yeah.
second year. Yes.
So that's great, because what I see quite a lot is that people tend to sell their product instead of listening to the needs and the problems of the customer, because there's no need to sell a service if the customer doesn't need it. But if he has an issue with immigration, which is what you said they had,
Yep.
and then you come with a solution. Or if you don't know, you can tell them that I don't know, but I will look for it and I will come with a correct
Right.
answer.
Right.
I think it's what makes the difference.
Yes. Yes. And well, meanwhile, we have a sales manager who is working for our company, and he is extremely good connected in the HR system. So at that point, everything runs well. And I have time to care for my clients, and it's um, my joy on one hand to do the immigration. That's what I have the expertise in.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I love to give people consulting. So I am the life counselor, and that's what I love to do.
Great.
So
So it's been 15 years that you set up the company. What are things that you didn't expect on the journey, and what are some of the challenges that you had to overcome during those 15 years?
what I didn't expect, I cannot tell that because I didn't expect anything. But that's true. But there have been some hurdles, challenges. For example, when big companies, invite you to submit an RFP,
Yeah.
and you work on that RFP nearly 1 week, so that it's really according the needs of the client, and so that you are sure you can afford these prices as
Yeah.
the bidder. And then you have to hear from outside the club, well, you just were the fifth wheel on that car, and they just had to add another provider, but they never had the idea to really compare you with the others.
Yes.
This happened to me in those years 2 times, and today we do no longer take part in big RFPs. We are not interested in any Unilever or Nestle or sorts like that. I am very honest, they do not pay the prices we can live from. We cannot make our living out of that.
Yeah.
I'm not interested to work 15 hours a day for a minimum salary. I'm not interested in that. And you cannot provide that high level of services that we provide to clients with these contracts. It's impossible.
Yeah, and it's very often working on volume, and the problem is that it's not because you have a volume that you don't provide the same type of service to the customer. So it means that yeah, like you said, you don't earn a lot of money, and you have a lot of reporting to do as well. So
Yes.
which is challenging for a small or medium-sized company. So I totally agree with you.
Yes, that's the second topic. You have to do a reporting according their wishes. So you're part of their system structure, their company structure. And now imagine you want to grow very fast. Like there's one competitor, you might knew him, ICU, and they did this. They grew very fast. They invested a bunch of money, and now they have to follow the policy of 3 or 4 or 5 big players in the market. So like Nestle, Unilever, or however they are called. And there is a permanent change of employees in such companies. There are several of the big relocation providers. We all know them. And I don't like to switch employees every 4 weeks or every 3 months. I want to work with people for years.
Yeah.
So that there is a team that can rely on each other. We can exchange information. We can exchange some clients. They are a better fit to that consultant, and it works.
And you build trust,
That's it.
And
expats feel this in the
yeah.
very beginning, that there is a profound, sound basis where they can rely on.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's talking about our company when we set it up, and of course it's much younger than yours, but the idea behind it was really to have partnerships, partnership with our customer, with corporate accounts, with freelancers, because it's important to work together. We all want one thing, is that, you know, the expat arriving in the country is well taken care of, that he can settle quickly, that he can focus on his job quickly as well. And if you don't build this kind of partnership, it's very difficult, you know, to have a very good experience.
Yes, and I must say the most beautiful experiences have been with top managers who were so thankful that we had the time and did all the efforts to satisfy them, and they reflect the quality of my work and the work of my team.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
Yeah, I totally agree. So after 15 years, now that you have all the experience and the company has grown, what is maybe one thing that you wish you had known when you started, and that you didn't know, and that might have given you some make things easier for you to start in the business?
On first hand, a little bit more money to invest. So this pocket money to start the business should be sufficient, should be so much that you can really pay the marketing budget for the first 3 years. Whatever it belongs to what you think of marketing, like online presence, like website, social media profile, also, or the advertising fees that you need. What I never would do again would be printing a folder or any kind of flyer. No, just visit cards, and whatever you need, you can get it in digitally format.
We've done the same, exactly.
Yes, yes, and it spoiled money.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. And coming back to the fact that you need some money to start with, it's something that I mean, I think it's the same for all entrepreneurs, and you need to be aware that you need to have some savings when you start your journey as an entrepreneur.
Definitely.
To be ready.
Yes.
Because it's not because you're going to start that the next day you will have, you know, 10 customers joining you. It's going to take some time, and you need to have sufficient resources to be able to pay yourself, or at least to live on some savings, and to be able, like you said, to invest in marketing, to invest in networking events where you need to go, to invest in lunch with customers. And if you don't plan that, that's difficult.
And it's like marketing, for example. I love doing marketing, everything what relates to online marketing.
Yeah.
I love that. So I learned about that so many things. And I wish I would have known this in the beginning. But whoever is not interested in marketing, I know some people around me, they do not like marketing. Their understanding of marketing is totally different than mine. And people like that, and they will become entrepreneurs. They need somebody who is doing that for them. Without marketing, and nowadays, whenever you're looking for a product, you want to purchase a product, what are you doing? The first thing, you enter Google and you enter the keywords. And then
exactly.
you want to be the first to be found.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everything relates to that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And if you don't have the expertise, which is fine, nobody, you don't have. I mean, not everybody is able to master internet or marketing, but then you need to plan to have somebody who can help you on that.
Right. Correct. Yes.
So you've been 15 years. I come back to that again. Is there any big failure in those 15 years that you had, or difficulties that you had to overcome?
Oh yes, of course, like everybody, when you're working with people, there are fights, discussions, and disappointments on both sides. And also, of course, we had this also, I had this. Expats who give you the feedback written on a paper that they are very satisfied, everything was wonderful, and they are very happy and will always recommend you. And then the HR tells you 3 months later, well, he was complaining about you very heavily. That hurts.
We all had that type of customer.
Yes, yes, yes. Or when that also happens, some people get the advantage and the gift from a company to be assigned abroad, and the company pays everything on a very high level, and then they start playing with you and the employer, so that they get even more out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's something that I always point out. We are the
You are working for the account and not for
yes.
your customers, and it
Yes.
comes back
Customer
to
is the consumer.
yeah, and it comes back to what you said before. It's really important in those cases to have a strong relationship and partnership with the HR.
That's it.
Because if you don't have that, then you're not sure that they won't believe what the assignee is saying, and that you are the one who is not doing the work properly. If you have a good relationship, you can call the HR and say, okay, sorry, we have an issue here. We don't want any problem. Maybe you can just step in and put your employee back on the right track.
Yes, yes. We have this sometimes. Just recently, a client from the British Islands moving here as a very high-level manager, tier 1, and he was explained. So we explained him, download the file from our website. You can find it in our website download area, how to make it in Germany, how to make it in Austria, and among other issues and other topics, you can find that part about how to rent a flat in Austria. There's a certain procedure, and 99% of the housing market in Austria is covered by real estate brokers.
Yeah.
And the fees of the real estate brokers is regulated by law, by the government. So if you rent a flat for 3 years, you pay 1 month rent fee. If you rent it longer than 3 years, you pay 2 month rent fee. And this person, we joined him. We looked at several flats. We made this housing tour for 3 days. We did the research. We communicated very closely with him. And in the end, he was extremely upset that the broker dared to ask him to pay the fee. And he nearly rented the flat already. So you sign a certain sheet here in Austria that says rent offer.
Yeah.
Because the tenant applies for the flat, and everything was prepared. He just had to sign, and he had that sheet with him for 10 days, and we kept the flat for him, and we booked it for him. And then in the end, he was again very angry, and that I didn't organize to lower that fee for the broker, and he doesn't really see that he has to pay the broker, because for him the broker did nothing. Well, brokers here see this different, and I see it different as well. But in the end, he didn't rent the flat, and he didn't want us to support him any longer.
Yeah, we have the same type of issue here in Luxembourg, where it's nearly, like you said, 99% of the market is in the hands of real estate agents, and you have to pay 1 month's rent on any property, and for some people it's very difficult to understand. And it's true that we really make sure that they are aware that when they arrive, they will have to pay 1 month's rent, plus 2 or 3 months bank guarantee, and plus 1 month of rent for the estate agent, which is quite a lot of money, more or less 5 months rent.
Well, here they pay 6 months, 6 rents in total. And in average, they pay for a flat here, these mid-sized manager or tier 1 level manager, they pay between 1,500 and 3,000 euros rent per month. So this by 6 times, that's an amount, of course. But this is something we explain in advance when we meet them the first time online. We send them the link to download the introduction file from our website, how to make it in Austria or how to make it in Germany. So everything is written several times. They know about it. So they have time to give feedback. I do not want to pay that. Well then, sorry, we cannot find a flat for you. I'm very sorry. And it's not negotiable here. That's on top.
Great. If you are okay, we are maybe going so that people know a bit more about you, more on a more personal side. As you are getting older, what are things that are more important now than 15 or 20 years ago?
I love to be with my friends. Let's say even 10 years ago, I love to go out in the evenings to clubbings, to events, to meetings. I was a very busy and extrovert person. I'm still quite extrovert and communicative, but I love my silence in the evenings, and I love to sit with my friends and just have a good bottle of wine in a wine bar, you know, these Austrian 𝗀𝗍𝗀𝗀𝗀, and it's a perfect culture for me. Just sitting, doing chit chat and enjoy life. No stress, no Aufregung. I don't know the English word for it. But I love it more relaxed today. I'm happy to be with me alone sometimes, but I love to be with my husband. We are together for 20 years and we support and challenge each other again and again, and we grow with each other in our businesses. That was the best experience I ever had. Well, then I'm nearly 60 years old, so I have my children, my sons, 3 of them. They are all in the late 30s, and I have my grandchildren.
Right.
From 16 years to 1 year, no, just half, 9 months. The smallest is 9 months. So I have a big family, lots of sisters. One of my sisters lives in Netherlands, in the south of Netherlands for 30 years already. So I am very happy here. Everything is in perfect mood. Yes, my eldest son, he is self-employed as well. He's the 3rd generation out of our logistics business.
Oh, great.
He has a customs clearance agency. So we are all a little bit in the same business. It's all related to each other. And that makes it easy to talk with each other, to interact with each other. And it's quite nice.
That's great. And maybe an interesting question. So you are reaching 60. You love your business. Until when do you want to continue to work? And maybe do you have any plan for the company afterwards? Or you didn't think about it yet?
No,
not yet.
I thought about this, and I talked about this with my eldest son, because he is familiar with all that relates to this business. And well, from the legal aspect, I can retire with 67, so it's still 9 years until then. And I have time to think it over. If I'm experienced the same aging like my father, then I can work until my late 70s, like he did.
Great.
So it's time enough to enjoy work and life.
Any of your children would like to or might have thought about joining you with the company?
Not yet, no.
Not yet.
No, no.
Yeah, because in our industry, you have quite a lot of people of companies, yeah, where there is a second generation in the relocation industry as well.
Yes, we have such a company here in Austria as well, my biggest competitor. And her daughter, she is now in her late 30s as well, and she studied in the US for 5 years in that business, in the logistics, and in a relocation company, in one of the big relocation companies in the US. And then she returned and took over mom's business.
Okay. What is a passion of yours that you rarely share with people at work? Something that you do for yourself when you are on weekend or holiday?
Not really. I'm just
Yeah.
a transparent person. I'm
So
talking nearly about everything. Well, maybe I am absolutely addicted to good made movies. And it's not only the story, the plot, it's about techniques, how the pictures were made, and the scenery, etc., the setup. I'm very keen on that. And second, no, I'm not really.
Great. Maybe just to finish, could you give 2 or 3 tips or advice for our listeners who would want to launch their own business, whether in the relocation or any industry? What are important things that they maybe should know if they want to start their business?
Well, what I would like to recommend is look on your savings. Do you have enough savings to spend your first year on that, and enough to spend for marketing? You need marketing. And third, take care that you first have a look at who is your client, how do you reach the client, and how do you get in contact with it.
Yeah. Great. Thanks a lot. If our listeners want to connect with you, what is the best way to do that? And we'll put the information in the notes of the podcast.
Find me either on LinkedIn or Facebook.
Yeah.
Instagram, Pinterest, and also via our website.
Yeah.
www.𝗱𝗁𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀consulting.com, and contact me at any time with questions. I'm here.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Kornelia, for joining my podcast. I really enjoyed our discussions. Even if I have a certain age, I'm still a young entrepreneur compared to your 15 years of experience. So I really enjoyed to listen to your journey and how you developed your company. And yeah, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Stefan, for this invitation. I enjoyed our talk very much as well, and I'm happy to see you soon again.
Thank you.
Bye.